Welcome. My name is Jo Miller. I'm a somatic therapist and a senior trainer for Focalizing, which is a somatic therapy tool. And I'm here connecting and in conversation with Jay, who's one of our recent participants on the practitioner course. Welcome, Jay.
Thank you. Yeah, my name is Jae Gibbs, and I am a yoga teacher and recently qualified or certified focalizing practitioner. Um, and my area of focus is really around embodiment, um, and the healing of trauma and how that can liberate us and also bring us back to our true nature to really live fully and wholly as ourselves.
Yeah, yeah, beautiful.
Mm.
And I'm curious, um, is that one of the things that attracted you to move towards the course?
Yeah, I suppose in recent years, I feel that there's been an unfolding and an unveiling within myself of really understanding the importance of becoming more embodied,
Mm.
um, and actually what that even means to me, and how that is. I have found it to be very resourceful just to be able to become more aware of my emotions, my physical needs, actually, and become more aware of myself as a whole
Mm.
being. You know,
Yeah.
society, I think my social conditioning for a long time had me thinking about the mind and the body very separately. And through my yoga practice and then my training, I've been delving more deeply into the connection.
Mm.
And that has then expanded to connection with nature, to the connection with existence,
Mm.
whatever that looks like for you. And so when I was first introduced by a fellow uh, yoga teacher on a fellow course, introduced to focalizing, it just felt like a natural progression of the direction I've been going in, which is learning the language of my body and myself.
Mm.
Um, yeah, to become more intimate with myself,
Yeah.
to be able to look after my own needs and to tune in to that. And I think, listening to the body or body wisdom, these terms kind of it's thrown around quite a bit. Um, but my first experience with vocalizing, I think it really landed in a new way. Actually, the body it's speaking to us all the time. It's communicating all the time.
Mm.
And we need to slow down and listen.
Mm.
And actually that first experience was like, this is it. This is what it is. This is what I've kind of been experiencing, but not really in
Yeah.
such an intentional way. I
Yeah.
think in terms of, kind of setting an intention and then listening for the response to that.
Yeah.
And that kind of that space, providing that space, just allowed a really deep connection, and it was very profound. I got some very profound
Mm.
uh, information back. Um, and so, yeah, I think from that moment, it's like I need to know more. I just want to explore this more. This feels so natural, actually.
Yeah.
Um,
I
yeah.
love what you said then about the body is always speaking, because I think that's a real um, it's a real layer to the understanding of what really this job of embodiment is. You know, it's actually just really kind of not just because it's you know it's a road, but it's turning back up the volume where society has told us that maybe we need to turn down, and that has its, you know, it also has its place, right? We need to kind of just sometimes get through the day, and sometimes we need to be in a linear kind of focused movement forward, but in that kind of hyperlinear world,
Mm,
you know, we're sort of turning down this volume, and it's really a, a process of becoming sensitive and intimate again, to use your beautiful words, isn't it? To kind of just turning that up so that we can tap into all this non-linear wisdom. So I really, really appreciated those two words that you said then. And
mm,
as you were talking, I was really reminded, Jay, of when we spoke, when you were first thinking about doing the course,
mm,
and yeah, I was just really reminded of a real felt sense that it was a real, almost just natural, intuitive landing point for where you were as a practitioner and on your own journey. And there's something usually quite uncanny about that with focalizing. There usually is, and also it's reminding me of session by session. There were quite a number of times when you would ask a question. It was like, oh, we've almost paid Jay to lead us into the next point, because there's this sort of like intuitive flow,
yeah.
and I think once you start to turn towards that intimacy and start to turn the volume up,
Mm,
you go beyond the physical and the linear, and almost really tap into this very innate sense of intuition. So I was really reminded of that, and just sort of replaying back to you, kind of, yeah, what that reminded me of, and
mm.
yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's reminded me actually that I kind of, I suppose the point that I came in at is um, I've been an African spirituality practitioner for maybe the last 3 years. I've been exploring um, that, and more recently priestesshood, and um, and that is very intuition based. It's very in African spirituality, we call it correspondence, is like tuning in not only just to the body, but also how we are in tune with everything.
Yeah, I love that word, correspondence.
Yeah. So there's a conversation happening all the time, and we are in relationship with everything, or with ourselves, most and with everyone, but also with everything. And so that's the kind of point I came in at. And then this has been a way to kind of bring it into like a space that is totally non-linear and completely intuitive, really.
Mm.
But it's given a framework, and I'm reluctant to say framework because I think that makes it sound more, I don't know, more structured than it actually is. But Yeah, these tools, I want to say, the tools of focalizing really give something to ground that intuition into,
Mm,
and a container to kind of hold it,
mm,
bring in your intuition and really listen
mm,
really deeply. And
mm,
that's what I've found so powerful, really,
mm,
is whether I'm doing it for myself, when I'm self-focalizing, or when I've been holding a space for another person to focalize.
yeah,
I've yeah, I've found that there's this safe container,
yeah,
because of the focalizing
mm,
methodology, let's
mm,
say. It kind of creates that space in which to go in and be completely, well, as I learned, a curious observer and
mm,
intuitive, and just follow, as Nick might say, follow the breadcrumbs and
yeah,
just, explore. So yes, so much
yeah,
um, kind of compounding of what was already there, but really giving it something to yeah, to ground,
mm.
and to kind of express through, I would
Yeah, that's so beautifully put, the express through.
say.
And Dr. Michael Piccici, who founded and put together Focalizing, um, you it clearly references shamanic and ancient wisdom as being absolutely part of the process.
Yeah.
And my sense is that's where those two for you kind of uh,
Mm.
really sort of happy companions, because there's some heritage there within that process. And then the rest of it, the kind of the framework bit, it's interesting. I sometimes struggle with that word too, but the words that you use there about how to express it, for me, what rose when you said that was something around the balancing of the yin and the yang.
Mm.
So there's yin, you could argue that we've culturally kind of in the Western world separated from a lot of the yin and the non-linear. So you could argue that. So it's harder to turn towards, and I think sometimes that can feel a bit untethered almost, and almost unreachable. Whereas the yang is an expression, actually, isn't it? So for me, what rose is something um, uh, around the balance of those um, through that expression. Mm.
Yeah, I felt that. I felt that when you said that arrived in me.
Yeah,
Immediately. I felt that in my center, actually.
yeah,
Yeah, the kind of expression of the non-linear, like
mm,
imbalance, um,
mm,
that does, yeah, that makes, yeah, I don't even want to say sense. That really lands.
sense. Yeah,
That
I
really
as
lands.
you were saying that, actually, I noticed something that something that was like a kind of sense of knowing and a bit of that excitement energy that we shared before we pressed record earlier. Something was in my tummy. It was like, oh, yeah, hello. Yeah, that.
Yeah, yeah. And that, yeah, that's you saying that has just made me think back to our last session last week, where I kind of said focalizing feels like it's been waiting for me. It feels like it's been waiting for me, and now it's like, oh, here you are, you found me finally, And yeah, it helps make sense of a lot of things. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, brings a lot into alignment. So
you're really not alone with that. We hear that a lot. It's been waiting for me. That is a kind of observable norm of a lot of people. And it's not, it's obviously not for everybody. We have a beautiful, there's a beautiful array of healing modalities, and there's a beautiful array of modalities out there, thankfully. But there is a quality and a tone to the work that I think draws a whisper of something very familiar and safe and home-like for a lot of people, and it's almost like kind of following that. It's like somewhere you're following that whisper before you even know that you followed it. That,
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah, I just the coming home. It's the homecoming.
Yeah.
It's there. I mean, it's called focalizing,
Mm,
but it's there
mm,
always already.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So beautiful. What did you get most out of the course, would you say?
Mm. So I just really didn't. I don't know what I expect. I don't know what I expected or anticipated, but I just really didn't um, anticipate it permeating in the way it has into so many unexpected areas of my life, you know. Um, I suppose I came in with the idea that this was going to be a part of my healing offering, my healing work for people. And I also, as you know, I do brand work, which actually I think as after engaging with focalizing, I think I was saying this before, that it's given me permission to actually, it comes into my brand work more. I was I was playing with the idea of that before, but I didn't.
Mm,
Because they felt quite separate. But
mm,
focalizing is, it just is. It's not,
mm,
it doesn't live in any one place. It can live anywhere it wants to.
mm,
And so it's really, yeah, it's come through in the work that I'm doing with brand work, which historically, I mean, I came out of a very corporate environment. And for the last 5 or 6 years, I've been working on my own, and I've been shaping what that looks like for me. And focalizing has really, it's given me that permission to really join the two things
mm,
and recognize actually that although what I do is around brands as they're known, really what we're the work that we're doing is purpose, is identifying purpose and unveiling purpose and identity,
mm,
driven by that purpose.
mm,
And that's really, yeah, focalizing's really helped to kind of
mm,
bring that together.
mm.
Um, and then it also lives, it lives through my work. It's always been intuitive and creative work for me, but now it really is that,
Yeah, I love that. And I loved the way that you put it, isn't that it kind of lives everywhere, because there's something about that for me which speaks to a part of me that feels like um it feels like this almost the subject becomes the object. So because it has full permission,
Mm,
we then embody ourselves in this kind of full permission
yes,
way.
yes,
um,
yes,
and that is a real joy, hearing about how everybody is
mm,
just, yeah, giving themselves full permission, and
mm,
okay, how do I want to live, and how do I want to live with these tools,
yeah,
and share them with the world. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it really, yes, 100% agree. Yes, the big yes. um, yeah, it really does. Yeah, what you said about, because the space of focalizing is about, it's about giving yourself permission, and it is no shame, no blame, and the respect and this
Mm,
community. It really does allow you to show up
yeah.
however, in your true authentic
Yeah.
authenticity
Yeah.
in the space. And yeah, now that you say that, that is, you know, that is permeating through my life in more ways,
Yeah.
which is magical. I want to say it's really magical, and this is what I'm sharing through my brand or purpose and identity work. Is it really is about, we all have a magic that we can share. We all have magic that we can share, and yeah, and it's not just in the you know, in the obvious healing spaces. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
It's everywhere.
Yeah.
Um,
I feel that.
hmm,
I loved how you picked out no shame, no blame as well. There's out of the three kind of major frameworks that we share, that is one of the conditions, and yeah, I can speak personally. It's been really game changing for me, and it's a constant, mantra. And we do have to. It's a practice. Do have to kind of come back to it for our own personal way of being. Um, but I love how you picked that out, because I do think there's something that I hope we really bring to the fore. That there's um, and I hope that we also do that in a way that really enables this full permission as practitioners as well. I often say, we're not kind of men in suits. This isn't about, the focalizing way or the highway. It is about this full permission. And, I think when one person's like that goes off in a room, you give permission um, for everyone else to do. And I remember my teacher once saying that as well, and it really um, it lit something up in me, and it really reminds me of the kind of no shame, no blame, and the full permission. So
hmm.
yeah, I love how you put that out, because it's a really, for me personally, it's one that's been really game changing.
Oh, a massive game changer.
Mm,
I mean, I've been in safe space before.
mm,
Um, I'm familiar with safe space in that sense. But I think just the words "no shame, no blame" actually just it just makes it so simple,
mm,
so simple to get.
mm,
And when you're truly in that space, or you're truly in a space that really holds that,
mm,
there is a freedom
mm,
that comes with that,
mm,
um,
mm.
a real freedom that I think we just don't experience in everyday life.
No, we don't experience it by far enough. Yeah,
No,
yeah, I hear that.
no, yeah.
So I don't want to put you on the spot, but I kind of am gonna. So shit.
I'm here now.
By way of, I'm conscious. We've shared some good connectivity, and we could probably can chat for hours. But I'm conscious of
Yeah.
wrapping it up. If there's, maybe one or two things for anybody that's watching this, that's thinking about moving towards focalizing as a practitioner. If there's any final words that you'd like to share that come up for you.
Hmm. Hmm. I would say, if you have a feeling that there is something more, there's something a little bit more, either within you, or something a little bit more that you can offer or share, that listen to that curiosity. Listen to that curiosity and follow it. Um, And it doesn't matter, I would say, even doesn't matter, sounds wrong when I said it actually, but whatever your background,
Mm.
whatever, even if you're not in the healing
Mm.
spaces as such,
Mm.
there is value in this. It will, for me, it's allowed me to connect with myself and to listen to myself in a new way, which has been really resourceful. And it's allowed me to listen to others in a new way,
Mm.
which has been um, it's allowed me, I feel, to support others
Yeah.
more deeply,
Yeah.
not in a focalizing session, but outside of that as well, with my connection with people around me, to be able to listen and tune in,
Mm.
um, and to hold back from, judging and advice and fixing and all these things that of course, there's a desire to want to help, but I think we've associated that in society helping with fixing, and
Yeah.
actually nothing needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
Often people just want to be heard and seen, and yeah. And so if there's a curiosity, I would
Mm.
say, if there's any curiosity about any of that, then explore focalizing. That's what I would say.
Mm. Mm. People just want to be heard. Thank you. Thanks, Joe. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for holding me in this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm.